Hello again. This is Teacher Kirk Adams, and we're going to see if we can't finish up A Midsummer Night's Dream, Acts 4 and 5. In Act 4, in the first scene, we've got the four lovers who are still asleep in the forest, and Titiana enters the scene with Bottom, who has the head of an ass, and the little fairies are there, and it's a pretty cute scene. There's a nice a little dialogue where well, Titiana is weaving flowers in Bottom's hair, and Bottom is asking the fairies to do him little favors like scratch him, and Titiana asks Bottom if he's hungry, and he says he wants to eat a lot of hay, which is what horses and donkeys eat, and Titiana goes on and on about how much she loves him. Then we've got a change of characters that Puck, who is Robin, and Oberon enter the glade, which is like a grassy area, right? Uh, and they review the success of Oberon's plan to get revenge on Titiana, uh, and uh, apparently Titiana agreed to give Oberon the Indian child, and so that's really what Oberon wanted, and so he has decided um, to release Titiana from her spell, and so they wake up Titiana, and she sees the donkey-headed Bottom, and she can't believe that she was in love with him, and then Puck releases Bottom from his spell and gives him back a normal human head. And then we've got mm, the king of Athens, Theseus, and Hippolyta and Aegeus, who are talking about how nice it is to hear hunting dogs, and they find the young lovers asleep there in the forest, and they wake them all up, and the young kids are still pretty sleepy, and they think that whatever happened was probably a dream, uh, and they're confused. Uh, but what is clear is that Demetrius and Helena are now truly in love with each other, uh, and so this basically solves a problem because Lysander and Hermia are also in love with each other. So we've got two couples who are truly in love, and Theseus releases Hermia from her father Aegeus's order that she marry Demetrius, and Theseus says that no, it's Demetrius and Helena that should be wed, and Lysander and Hermia should also be wed. And then um, when Bottom wakes up, he's got his memorable line where he confuses the senses with the different parts of the body, and he says it was such an amazing dream that a ballad should be written based on that incredible dream or experience that he had. Uh, so let's go ahead and go on to the. Here, I'll show you. You can take a look at the analysis here. I'm really not going to beleaguer it. You can read this on your own, and there's the rest of that. The the purpose of Acts 4 and 5 is to wind the story down. We've already had the climax of the story with the fights in scene Act 3, and now we're just basically tying up loose ends, releasing characters from their magical spells, putting all of the couples together the way that they should be, and then in Act 5 we're going to have the play. So let me go to the script, if I can do that. So here's Act 4. We've got Titiana, and she's she's caressing Bottom, who has the donkey's head. Come over here and sit down on this flowery bed while I caress those lovable cheeks. I'll put roses on your silky smooth head and kiss your big beautiful ears, my gentle darling. So this is supposed to be really funny because Titiana doesn't realize that he's, a donkey, and she's in love with him. So Bottom is basically taking role, and he's asking for all the little fairies, and he's asking each of the fairies to do him some little favors. Apparently he's got an itch. Scratch my head, please. Bottom says here, I think this is funny, that he should go to a barber. I should go to the barber, monsieur, because I think I'm getting really hairy around the face. So that's supposed to be funny. And then this is funny too. I didn't highlight it, but Titiana asks him if he wants to hear some music. I have a pretty good ear for music. Let's hear someone play the triangle and the sticks. So, of course, that's probably the most simplistic music that could possibly be imagined. So that's supposed to be funny. And Titiana, oh, tell me, my sweet love, what you'd like to eat. Actually, I'd like a few pounds of grass, and I'd like to munch on some good dry oats, or maybe I've got a hankering for a bundle of hay. There's nothing like good hay, really sweet hay. So hay is, in Spanish, that's paja, in case you're not sure about that. And so Titiana says she's going to send a fairy to a squirrel's nest and to find something for him to eat. And so the fairies exit. Bottom and Titiana go to sleep. So it's when when the characters go to sleep that spells get undone. And we've got Robin and Oberon. So Robin is Puck, and Oberon is the king of the fairies. Welcome, good Robin. Did you see this sweet sight? Now I'm starting to pity Titiana for being so infatuated. So he asks her for the Indian child and decides to release her from her spell. I asked her for the stolen Indian child. She said yes right away, and sent a fairy to bring him to my home in fairyland. And now that I have that boy, I'll undo the spell that makes her vision so disgustingly wrong. And gentle Puck, take this transformed ass's head off of the head of that Athenian man, so that when he wakes up at the same time as the rest of them do, they can all go back to Athens. They'll only remember the events of tonight in a very unpleasant dream. But first I'll release the fairy queen from the spell, and he uses another flower, and he undoes the spell, and Titiana wakes up saying that I've had such a strange dream. I dreamed that I was in love with an ass. There's your boyfriend sleeping right over there. How did this happen? Oh, I hate looking at his face now. And Oberon directs Puck to uh, turn his head back into a regular head. And he's undoing the spell. When you wake up, see things with your own foolish eyes again. And so that's how they are released from their spells, uh, and they leave the scene, and we hear a hunting horn, and Theseus and Aegeus and Hippolyta come in, and Theseus goes on about how the hunting dogs. My love will have a chance to hear the beautiful music of my hunting dogs barking as they chase their prey. They go on and on about hunting dogs. It's really not that important. Uh, and then they find the youngsters in love asleep there in the forest. And he just recognizes Hermia. My lord, that's my daughter asleep on the ground over there. And this is Lysander here, and this is Demetrius, and this is Helena, old Neda's daughter. I don't understand why they're all here together. And Theseus says they were probably partying and celebrating May Day, and they got tired and went to sleep. Uh, and so, maybe the hunting dogs is just a good excuse to have the hunting horns, so the hunters blow their horns and wake up the youngsters. Um, Theseus, are you lovebirds only starting to pair up now? And so they apologize to the king, and the king says to Lysander and Demetrius that he knows that they're enemies, and then Lysander and Demetrius will each speak. Lysander, I want to tell you the truth, and now that I think about it, I think this is true. I came here with Hermia. We were planning to leave Athens to escape the Athenian law, and Aegeus, Hermia's father, you've heard enough evidence. I insist that the law punish him. They were going to run away. And then Demetrius interrupts. He's going to explain to Theseus that he's in love with Helena. Something made my love for Hermia melt away like snow. My past love for Hermia now seems a memory of some cheap toy that I used to love as a child. Now the only person I love and believe in and want to look at is Helena. Now I want Helena. I love her. I long for her. And I will always be true to her. And so this is where Theseus says um, that Hermia does not have to marry Demetrius. Aegis, I'm overriding your wishes. These couples will be married along with me and Hippolyta in the temple later today. So they're all getting married at the same time. Theseus, the king, and Hippolyta, the Athenian queen, and or sorry, the Amazonian queen, and both of the couples will all get married at the same time. Then Theseus, Hippolyta, and Aegeus exit, and the young lovers have a conversation where they're really confused and trying to figure out what happened and thinking that it must have been a dream, but then again maybe not because they all remember the same thing. Demetrius, it seems to me like we're still sleeping, still dreaming. Do you remember seeing the Duke here? Did he tell us to follow him? Yes, he did, and my father was here too, and Hippolyta, and he told us to follow him to the temple. Let's follow him then. We can tell one another our dreams along the way. And so this is when Bottom appears from the forest, and he's starting to rehearse his lines for the play. And this is one of our memorable quotes where Bottom is confused about, or he mentions, well, let me read it. What a weird dream I had. You can't even describe such a weird dream. You'd be an ass if you even tried to explain it. I thought I was. No, nobody can even describe what I was. I thought I was. I thought I had. This is where in the original they say, methinks, methinks. But a person would be an idiot to try to think what I thought I had. No eye has ever heard, no ear has ever seen, no hand has tasted, or tongue felt, or heart described what my dream was like. I'll get Peter Quince to write this dream down as a ballad. I'll call it Bottom's Dream. So he's got a big ego, and he thinks that his story is worthy of a ballad. So, in the next scene, we've got the country bumpkins, the actors, and they're wondering where Bottom is. And Quince, have you sent anyone to Bottom's house? Has he come home yet? If he doesn't show up, the play is ruined. It won't go on, will it? No, it would be impossible. And Flute says, he's quite simply the smartest working man in Athens. So that's supposed to be funny because Bottom in the end is really no more than a clown of an actor. And so they've got some funny stuff, getting some words confused. And Bottom shows up. He arrives. Where are my good fellows? How wonderful to see you. What a relief. And Bottom says he's going to tell him everything. Then he says he's not going to tell him anything. And this is where he rallies or encourages the men to get ready. Meet me at the palace as soon as possible. Look over your lines again. Our play's going to be performed for the Duke. So make sure Thisbe's wearing clean underwear, and make sure whoever's playing the lion doesn't cut his nails, because he needs them long to look like a lion's claws. And no one need any onion or any onions or garlic. If we have sweet-smelling breath, I'm sure they'll say it's a sweet play. No more talking. Get busy, go. So he's giving them all some advice, and it's quite funny actually. Ready for scene 5. And here in scene 5, we're back to the king, his bride, and the Philostrate. Theseus makes a big deal about how lovers are crazy. Uh, some think that a dark-skinned gypsy is the most gorgeous woman in the world. Um, Poets are always looking around like they're having a fit, uh, and it's because the young people are telling strange stories. These lovers are saying some strange things, Theseus. And Theseus's response is that, well, lovers are, they're crazy. They're crazy in love, right? So you don't know what's true. And Hippolyta, but the story that these lovers are telling and the fact that they all saw and heard exactly the same things made me think there's more going on here than imaginary fantasies. Their story is bizarre and astounding, but it's solid and consistent. And that's when the lovers come in. And so this is a happy scene. Uh, and I wish you joy, my friends. I hope the days ahead are full of joy for you. And now Theseus wants to know what entertainment has been lined up for the celebration. Mm. Tell us what entertainment you've prepared for the evening. Which plays? What music? How will we pass the time without some entertainment? And the Philostrate describes all of the plays, and of course, the one we're waiting for is the one that will be performed by the acting troupe. And I believe they've modified the title a little bit. It's more ridiculous than ever. A tedious short drama about young Pyramus and his love Thisbe, a very sad and tragic comedy. A sad comedy? Short but tedious? That's like hot ice and strange snow. How can this drama be so many contradictory things? And this is funny what the Philostrate says. It's a play about 10 words long, which is the shortest play I've ever heard of, but in my opinion, it's about 10 words too long. That's why it's tedious. And Theseus has a very positive outlook, a good attitude with respect to this play. The Philostrate describes the actors as rough workmen, so they're just commoners. And Theseus, so let's see it. He's convinced. I'll watch this play. Nothing can really be bad when it's created by simple people who try hard. So yeah, he's got a really good attitude about people who are described as not actors or non-actors. And Hippolyta, he just said that they're no good at acting. But Theseus has a special perspective on this. We'll entertain ourselves by accepting their mistakes when poor, dutiful people can't do certain things. Well, generous people can consider the effort they put into it, rather than the effect that they produce. Now we're going to have the play, and Quince is playing the part of the prologue, and he's going to give his prologue, and it's basically true to what they had already negotiated. They're following through on their very absurd plans in the prologue. If we happen to offend you, It's because we want to. We don't want you to think we came here to offend you. So a lot of contradictions here, and they're worried about. They are worried that there's a possibility that they will be executed if they offend or scare the audience members. Mm-mm. So this line, I suppose I can read the rest. We don't want you to think we came here to offend you, except that we want to offend you with our good intentions. Our plan to show off our little bit of talent will wind up getting us executed. Please keep in mind, we're only here out of spite. We don't come here with the intention of making you happy. We're absolutely not here to delight you. The actors are ready to come out and make you sorry. By watching their show, you'll find out everything you're likely to know. So he's got a lot of contradictions, and it's very difficult to follow his reasoning. And Lysander, he rode that prologue like a wild horse. He didn't know how to stop it. And Theseus agrees. His speech was like a tangled chain. It went on and was a total mess. So, okay, there's more prologue. And basically, in this prologue, Quince tells the whole story. And basically, it's a spoiler for the whole story. And then the rest of the story is comprised of really boring scenes. So it's just another indication of how bad these actors are. And we hear the audience members making comments. Theseus, I wonder if the lions are going to talk. Demetrius, if these asses can speak, a lion should be able to. A lion should be able to. And so Snout actually plays a wall. And this is something that they had discussed, and you can only imagine how ridiculous it must look. That he's got some stones or some concrete, some mortar as like his outfit, his what's the word? It's not disguise. He's dressed with some props, stone and mortar, so people will believe that he's a wall. And the way they announce who they are and what they're doing is just, it really is funny. At this point, I, Snout, play a wall, but not just any wall. I want you to understand that I'm pretending to be a kind of wall that has a little hole in it. And Thisbe and Paramus have to meet and whisper through the hole in the wall. And he holds up two fingers to indicate where the hole is, the crack in the wall. And this is the crack, right side and left side, points with two fingers, through which the frightened lovers will be whispering. You can only imagine. They make a joke about why the wall is talking. So Pyramus, the male of the two lovers, greets the wall. You wall, oh sweet and lovely wall, show me your hole to stick my eye up against. I don't see any Thisbe, oh wicked wall, through which I don't see any happiness. Damn your stones for disappointing me like this. So he's really happy, see the wall, praises the wall, and then he gets angry at the wall because he can't see his lover Thisbe through the hole in the wall. And so Thisbe enters, and oh wall, you've often heard me moaning because you keep me separated from my handsome Pyramus. My cherry lips have often kissed your bricks, which are stuck together with cement. So that's that's a little bit of extra information that just shows how poorly they have written their lines. And so they go on and on about the wall, and Pyramus and Thisbe arrange to meet each other at Ninny's grave. Will you meet me? Will you meet me right away at Ninny's grave? Neither life nor death will stop me from coming. And Pyramus and Thisbe exit. And the wall says goodbye. I, Wall, have done my part. Now that I'm done, Wall can go away. So then we've got the lion and the moonshine carries a lantern and some sticks. So another ridiculous scene. And this is where Lion goes through with his promise, or the actors go through with their promise to warn the audience members so that they don't frighten them. He's going to say, I'm not really a lion. You ladies whose gentle hearts make you afraid of the smallest monstrous mouse that crawls around on the floor might quake and tremble now when the wild lion roars in his most violent rage. You should know that I, Snug the Carpenter, am not a fierce lion or a lioness, because if I were a lion and I showed up here to cause trouble, I'd be taking my life in my hands. So he's worried about scaring people and being executed. And so then we see the absurdity of the Moonshine character as well, with the lanterns and the sticks, and it's more or less inconsequential. So Thisbe comes back, and she's supposed to meet Pyramus at Ninny's tomb. This is old Ninny's tomb, but where is my love? And the lion, hey! And Thisbe runs off, and she drops her cloak. So she's got a little cloak, like a little coat, right? And then the lion takes Thisbe's cloak and stains it with blood. So Pyramus is going to come back and find the cloak covered with blood. This is an essential part of their story. It actually mimics the story of Romeo and Juliet. This story does. So Pyramus arrives, and he finds his lover's cloak stained with blood. But look, poor me, what a terrible tragedy is here. Eyes, do you see? How can it be? Oh, dainty duck. Oh, dear, your cloak so good. What? Stained with blood? And he blames it on a lion. Oh, Mother Nature, why did you create lions? A mean and awful lion has deflowered my darling, who was the most beautiful lady who ever lived or loved or liked or looked. When he says deflowered, that means that the lion has taken her virginity. rather than having killed her. So that explains the blood, or at least that's what Pyramus believes. And so, and now that she's not a virgin, she can't be his beautiful lover. Uh-uh. Come on, tears pour over me. Come on out, sword, and wound Pyramus in the chest. Yes, right here on the left side, where the heart is. So it's pretty absurd. He's telling himself where to stab himself, and he commits suicide. Uh-huh. And then Thisbe's going to come, and she's going to do the same thing when she finds Pyramus dead. Oh, Pyramus, get up, speak, speak. Can't you talk? Dead, dead. Come, trusty sword, come, blade, drench my breast with blood. Goodbye, friends. This is how Thisbe comes to an end. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And she dies. And so then Bottom is he comes on stage and asks the audience if they'd like to hear the epilogue, or perhaps see a country dance. And so they don't want to see the epilogue. Thesis, no epilogue, please. Your play doesn't need to be excused afterward with an epilogue. As a matter of fact, if the playwright had played Pyramus and hanged himself with his belt, it would have been a very good tragedy. In other words, the playwright should have killed himself. That would have been a better story. It's a good tragedy. Very well done. But come on, let us see you do your dance. Forget your epilogue. And so they dance for the audience, and the clock strikes midnight, and Theseus tells everyone that it's time to go to bed, and this is a transition so that the fairies can come out again, specifically Puck. Lovers, it's time to go to bed. It's almost fairy time. And this blatantly stupid play helped us kill the time until bed. Dear friends, let's go to bed. We're going to continue the party for 2 more weeks to celebrate all of the weddings. And now Puck comes in, and he gives some imagery here, and says that he's here to take care of the house. I'm here to make sure not even a mouse disturbs this blessed house. I've been sent to clean house a bit before the fairies come. And so here come the king and the queen and the fairies. And they sing and they dance. And Oberon mentions how they're going to bless all of the marriages and the future children of the young lovers. Titiana and I will go to the royal marriage bed to bless it. And the children conceived in that bed will always have good luck. And it's actually really funny here. And I believe that was the author's intention, that the blessing includes that they'll always be in love, their children will have no deformities, they won't have any moles, so those are birthmarks, right? Lunares, van a ser sin lunares, they won't have any hair lips. That's when you have a dead nerve in your mouth that impedes you from smiling correctly. They won't have any scars, nothing abnormal that might scare anyone, right? So a very nice blessing from the king of the fairies, and everybody exits except for Robin, and this solidifies Robin's role as, for lack of a true protagonist, he has the biggest, most important role, and he's going to basically tell the audience goodbye and apologize if they've offended anyone. It serves as a conclusion. If we actors have offended you, just think of it this way, and everything will be all right. You were asleep when you saw these visions, and this silly and pathetic story was no more real than a dream. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get upset with me. If you forgive me, we'll make everything all right. I'm an honest puck, and I swear that if we're lucky enough not to get hissed at, that's when the audience doesn't like what the actors do. They go psst, psst. That's a way of booing. If we're lucky enough not to get hissed at, we'll make it up to you soon. If not, then I'm a liar. So good night to everyone. Give me some applause if we're friends, and Robin will make everything up to you. And he leaves the stage, and that's the end of Midsummer Night's Dream. I will show you my last couple of slides so that you can have that to complete your understanding of the story. Just a moment. If you want to read a summary of Act 4, let me see. We saw some of this already, but I want to just make sure I haven't missed anything. Obviously, you can stop and start the recording. Here, this is still Act 4. I wasn't planning on commenting on this. And we've got an analysis of Act 4 and Act 5. Sorry, this is your summary of Act 5. Feel free to stop and start. Here's more summary. This quotation is the original line from the last line of Puck's when he says goodbye to the audience. Think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. Slumber is sleep, so he's saying let's just say it was all a dream, right? This silly, crazy story. Perhaps it was all a dream. And here's some analysis of Act 5. Apparently, and I guess I was unaware of this, the story likely influenced Romeo and Juliet. Apparently, a Midsummer Night's Dream was written before Romeo and Juliet. I was not conscious of that fact. And here's a little bit more of the analysis. Talks a little bit about one of the main themes of the play being dreams. That's the end of the presentation. I hope that helps you in your understanding of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And let's just leave it at that. Have a nice evening.